today's episode, we're going to dedicate this in the memory of Jose Luis Alvarado Nieves, who in the Lucha Libre world we know him as Brazo de Plata, which translates to Silver Arm, but he also was a famous wrestler with another name called Super Porky. Um, the cause of death has not been revealed, but it is a huge, shocking blow to hear about his death. I've been aware for some time his body's been failing out. He's been on one of the walkers, including his sons are famous wrestlers. Super Porky's family are from a long line of wrestlers that have been watching. He will be missed, but never forgotten. So right now, let's just move on with this latest episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So let's talk about what's the topics we have for today. I did not explain it in the start of the episode. Reason is, as you know, Super Porky was one of the most fun wrestlers I've ever watched. Years ago. He always brought a smile to everybody's faces. I have met his son once before, Psycho Clown, but he did had another name in the past, Brazo de Plata Junior. Basically, he was following, but his character Psycho Circus was one of the most popular names. But however, right now let's move on with we'll see what topics we have today. As you know, we got All Elite Wrestling Dark Elevation. Gonna go back to this past April with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with their Spring Tour 2020, the Bullet. This particular event was marked as the last time, the final match for Sena Shiori, who actually had to retire from wrestling or stop wrestling due to her medical condition. And of course, we got for the first time another promotion I never heard of, but it had some familiar faces in there from any promotion. This one's called Xtreme Wrestling Alliance. They have their annual Rublu Rublichin or something like that. I don't know. I can't pronounce it right. But this is the first for everyone with this promotion. But right now, let's start with AEW Dark Elevation. Okay, so right now we got AEW Dark Elevation. The first opening match we have Mark Quinn of the Hardy Family Office taking on Jurassic Express Jungle Boy. As you know, this is becoming a feud between the Hardy Family Office and the Jurassic Express due to the fact they've been interfering in their plans to eliminate Christian. But this time you get to see many events. Now, there was a moment where the interference comes in, reference seated. They pulled off the gin and juice, but it didn't work until Jungle Boy finally put Mark Quinn in a snare trap, forcing him to tap out, giving him a good solid victory. Next up, we got the magical girl Yuka Sakazaki taking on Amber Love. But you can guess right away that Yuka Sakazaki is one of the most popular Yoshi wrestlers that you guys get ever seen. Of course, those who haven't seen her yet, you know what I mean. But those who do, you can date back all the way to 2019 for Double or Nothing, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So it's fun to see her, and of course, she won by using her infamous match finisher, high fly or whatever they call it. But yeah. The next one we have Thunder Rosa taking on Mika Madrid. I don't know who she is, but you know how this ends with Thunder Rosa being one of the most toughest competitors ever. As you know, she's now officially with AEW, knowing that she's now part of their official roster, which is something I think many fans want. But it's great that she's in it, and of course, she wins her matches as always. Next up, we got Jora Joel taking on the dinosaur, Luchasaurus. As you can tell, this match probably didn't go exactly in Jora Joel's favor because you're facing against a dinosaur. But it always ends that way. But the real question is, what would Hardy say since he lost this match? Next up, we got Fuego del Sol taking on Scorpio Sky. Man, this match was really good because many people were expecting the Tornado DDT to come into play, but of course, excuse me. Well, of course, somehow Scorpio Sky overcame this and won the match. Next up, we got Angelico taking on the last member of the Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt. Didn't go so well for Marco because, he's a bit short. Angelico's a bit taller, and that kind of ends it that way. We got a women's tag team match. We got Maddie Rinkowski teaming up with the Bunny, taking on Tay Conti, and of course, the alien herself, Chris Statlander. I thought this was a really good match because I have to say the chemistry with Tay and Chris was very unique. I mean, we've seen how Tay coexisted with Hikaru Shida, but her with Chris, that's a different story. I think this is interesting. I like how this one is because I feel Tay can actually team up with anybody, and I'm okay with that. But of course, this match ended when Chris Statlander put Maddie Rakowski in the big man theory, and it's over. Next up, we have Jake Hager coming out for commentary for this match. Majority of the time of the match, we had not only Paul White, better known as Big Show, also teaming with Tony Schiavone. They had, of course, Eddie Kingston come out, but he was going to show up a little later. So Jake Hager came out for one match, and that match is between Wardlow and Bear Country. And this one, once again, we cannot deny the abilities of Wardlow. He is one of those wrestlers we know he's going to be a huge star and really going to make a name for himself, even if he's not with the Pinnacle. But we'll see how that goes down the line. But you know how this ends. Referee's decision. Next up, we have Luther along with Serpentico taking on Lee Johnson. This match was pretty insane because you wouldn't have expected Luther to win because you got Lee Johnson. I think they want to build him up more and more, and I think I'm okay with that. But however, he was the one who picked up the victory with his finisher. I don't know I forgot what they call it. But however, post match, apparently Miro found his challenger and he picked Lee Johnson. So this could happen this Wednesday or who knows when. But we'll find out. Excuse me. Next up, we got Serpentico taking on Eddie Kingston. This was a really interesting match because there was a moment where Kingston beat down Serpentico. He's like, wait a minute. He just dropped dead. I'm like, thought it was funny, but it was pretty interesting, I have to say. But however, with the back fist, that's how Eddie Kingston wins his matches. And 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we got Dark Order 5 and 10 taking on the Lucha Brothers. This one ended in the favor of the Lucha Brothers when they did that infamous move with the pile driver thing that they both do, but it's so insane. But Dark Order will always be fan favorites to everybody. Next up, we got Brock Anderson teaming with the Gun Club taking on Locos, Chandler Hopkins, Cameron Cole, and Izzy James. I have to say, seeing this combination between the Gun Club and Brock Anderson is interesting. I don't know. It could be something new, but it was good. It was Colton who actually pulled out the Colt 45, and it was over by then. Next up, the main event, we have Chuck Taylor taking on Pac. This match was really interesting and really good. But however, it was Pac that pulled up the broken arrow, allowing himself to win the match. But however, their shortcoming victory ended sooner thanks to the arrival of El Idolo Andrade. So we'll see what's going to happen. But this seems we may see a feud between Death Triangle and Andrade and whoever will join him. Okay, so we got Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with their latest Spring Tour 2021, The Bullet. This was on the 24th of April. Let's start with the first match. We have a tag team match. We have Moka Miyamoto teaming up with now, what's her name? Kakuda taking on Erisu Endo and Maki Ito. Now, this was one of, whenever there's a match with Maki Ito, you guys can tell this is going to be a fun match. It always ends in a fun match when it comes to Maki Ito. As you know, she's always up to the same old tricks, same old antics, which just makes it fun. But however, this time, this match ended with Erisu Endo pinning Moka for the 1-2 string, allowing herself to win for her teammates. Next match is a three-way match. We got Mahito Kiru versus Pamarajuku versus Hyper Misao. Now, this is one of those matches where we always see either there'll be a team up or they're on their own, that sort of thing. That kind of match is kind of difficult to play out. But however, there is no like nothing compared like the in Stardom, where once in a while we have the same faction in 2-1 or that sort of thing in three ways, but not in this type. But however, it was Hyper Masao who actually picked up the unbelievable victory against the other two, and basically continues to be the same superhero that she is. Next up, we got Haruna Neko teaming with the Bakuretsu sisters, Yuki Inyo, Nodaka Tenna taking on Raku, Marika Kobashi, and Yuki Kamifuko. Now, as there is no story build up in it, but this was a really fun match. But I was a bit surprised that somehow Marika Kobashi actually picked up the victory when she pinned Neko. I'm like, wow, that is interesting. I mean, I'm surprised that none of the opposing team from Neko and the Bakuretsu sisters were able to pin Yuki because she was the international princess champion at that time. She's not right now, but she was back then. But no, so they picked up a good victory. The next match is the final match of Sena Shiori. Now, months ago, it was revealed that she was graduated from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling's dojo due to the fact that her illness that she's been fighting throughout her life is getting worse. Now, doctors advised her that she needed to stop wrestling so they can try to give her the proper treatment. Now, people can say health always comes first. I'm sure that in this moment that they will, once she's fully recovered from this illness, that she will come back. And I know Sena is good friends with her opponent, that she would rather end her night here. Hikari Noah. Those two were really good friends. They always teamed up. They always had each other's back. They even face off, and I have to say it was a really touchy moment. That Sena did not win, but she gave an amazing promo. I don't know what she said, but she did state that her dream was to become tag team champions with Hikari. I mean, it's sad, but like we always say, health has to come first. And if she does come back, I would like to see that with her teaming with Hikari, and it'll be fun. But it was a fun moment. Now we get to the main event. We got Shoko Nakajima, the Magical Shore Rabbits, consistent of Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki. She hasn't left yet by this time, but she's now in the U.S. in case you're wondering. And teaming up with Miyu Yamashita, taking on B-Star, Suzumi, Mirai Mayumi, and of course Hakuchumu, Miyu Watanabe, and Rika Tatsumi. Now, there is a story build up to this. Miyu Yamashita is going to challenge for the Princess titles from Rika. Rika still has a grudge, but however, this match ended in a favor of Shoko Nakajima. Of course, Yuka doesn't trust Miyu that much, but it shows that Miyu will be coming for that title rather than sooner than later. So we'll see what happens when we get there. Alrighty, so the last review, this is the first time I ever get to review this promotion. It's called Xtreme Wrestling Alliance. Never heard of them, but from what I can tell, they've been around for who knows how long. It opened up with Kurt Angle opening up the show. From my understanding, it's somewhere in the Pittsburgh area. Um, Pittsburgh is his home, if you guys know that completely. And there is someone else who's from Pittsburgh as well, but I won't mention her name because she's not involved in this. The opening match was for the XWA Firebrand title in a seven-way ladder match. So here's who they had: Ace Austin, Steve Pena, Ace Romero, Joey Bones, Flip Gordon, uh, Kylon King, and Flash Waller. Now, I'm familiarized with AC Romero, and Flip Gordon. The others I don't know, but it was a really good match. I mean, this was a title that was vacant. I don't know how long, but it was good. I like it. Uh, but the bigger threat they had to take care of was AC Romero, who most likely is the one who can knock out everyone. He had to pull out two ladders to maintain the balance, but it got caught up with him. But however, excuse me, Joey Bones actually won this one by a miracle. Next up, we have the XWA Tag Team titles on the line. We got The Haven, Jay Onyx, and Sean Knight taking on Waves and Curls, Jalen Brandy, and Trizin Jordan, who are the champions. I want to point out a fact here that no one knows, and I didn't even notice. Waves and Curls, they actually made some appearances at AEW during either Dark or Elevation. I'm like, and from what I can tell, they're in fact one of the popular tag teams down there. I'm like, no wonder they brought them there. Makes sense. If you're gonna bring in a popular tag team just for show, why not? And it was a good match, and of course, it was Waves and Curls that won the match. They retained the titles, and the Haven showed the respect. The next following match, we have Danny Limelight taking on JT Dunn. This is more of a rivalry that it was meant to happen, but who knows how things would have gone. But however, things didn't go well for Danny Limelight. It was JT Dunn that picked up the victory. Not even Danny Limelight couldn't even believe it, but it is how it is. Next up, we got the Finesse Chris Bay taking on Trigger, the OG. I would have assumed Chris Bay would win, but no. Trigger, I don't know much about him, but he pulled off a very upsetting victory on this one. Many people probably would have assumed Chris Bay was winning, but no, it didn't happen that way. Next up, we got for the XWA Heavyweight title between the champion Kalen Thomas and an unknown opponent. That opponent is none other than Mike Canales, or as we know him, Mike Bennett, Maria's husband. This match was so good. However, many fans did not like the outcome. No, I didn't say there was a change of titles. It just went up to a time limit draw. I'm like, holy cow. So I don't know how that happened. I didn't think it could happen, but it did. But hopefully we'll see another part two of this match. Hopefully. Now we get to the XWA Rumble match. There was a lot of people to show up. Chris Adonis, better known as Chris Master, showed up. Gangrel and a few others. I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. But oh yeah, JTG was there too. But however, in the end, it was Chris Masters that pulled off the victory. So basically, I'm not sure if he will get a shot of the XWA heavyweight title, but that is something I will definitely try to keep an eye on, see if there's anything going on with this promotion, and I think that's pretty much it. What we got from that. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Uh, First time I do the XWA. I never heard of them, but it's really fun. Hopefully, there'll be more of these I can watch. There's still some I haven't uh, talked about, but I'll do those as soon as possible. Uh, just give me some time. Uh, but right now, for the coming up episode, we're gonna have the NWA Power, AEW Dark, and NXT, and I'll probably throw in another event. I just don't know which one yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as possible on that very episode. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah! And have a nice day. Bang!